Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk. Thank you, right? Out here in my lab, I do what I do for you. I got a nice little lesson today for you. Mm, Educating, enlightening. I'm putting it out there, so let's go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. Put the message in the story for life. These are life lessons I'm giving you. Some is by the book, some is by me, but they're all life lessons that you can learn, implement, and benefit. That's the goal. Let's go. Again, I appreciate you tuning in. We got a good thing going. Let's ride. Right Thinker's mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life, and that's what it is for me, a way of life, excuse me, of through mental and spiritual discipline, self-discipline, high self-discipline, daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment. That's how it's done, aka know thyself. That's my mission as the teacher. I want all my students to get that one lesson in life, know thyself. Okay, so that's my goal, that's my mission, and I'm on it. So the question for you is, do you know yourself? And if you choose to want to know yourself, I'm the man you need to be dealing with. Let's go. Know thyself is the question. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is just foolish. Avoid them, or excuse me, disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do every day for you. I got you. Stay tuned. Appreciate you too. A person who knows not and believe that they know, then just avoid them. Okay? A person who knows but knows not that they know is asleep spiritually. I'm the spiritual alarm clock. My job is to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All this person reside in you. Right thinkers know that self. To my eye, true. You're not meant to symbolisms, okay? Symbology, making the hidden, remember, esoteric meanings, the hidden message behind an esoteric message that everybody get to see the general concept, but there's always a hidden concept. This I, whatever you think, let me explain to you, is the quintessential concept of I know me, okay? And the I signifies God, the all-seeing, internal sight, not the outer internal sight, external. He's the esoteric kind of dude. He's internal, he's hidden, but you can find him mentally. That's the whole concept. Okay, but let's get to the lesson. Right thinkers, let's talk about the symbolic meaning of Cain and Abel's story, aka Cyrus and Set, for all y'all biblical dumpers. There's a history. Your Bible is not new. The stories in the Bible are not new. They're already been plagiarized from thousands of years before. So understand that. We ain't get back and forth there. But that's the concept. Ain't nothing new in it, sir. We had it already figured out way back in Egyptian times. Why? Because we lived thousands of years in peace and harmony. That's why. And every time somebody come and took advantage of us, they took a little bit of what we was doing. Why? Because it worked. We never conquered nobody. We never ventured out to do none of that nonsense. We just lived in peace and harmony. That's how the world should be. But let's talk about the lesson. Cain, first of all, firstborn, represents man, the ego man. He had nothing to compare himself to, so he thought it was all about him, which is okay. That's lower nature. That's your lower self. Why? He's ignorant to his higher self. He's just doing what comes natural to him, and that's fine. That's called beastly nature. The first 3 rounds of the chakra, the first 3 degrees of Mason, the first 3 degrees of anything is just getting you out of that zone of fight or flight, desires, survival mode. Okay, those are the first 3 rounds of the chakra. In the Masonic order, you still ain't a master Mason with the little 3 degrees you think you got. That's the little head bit. Okay, but guys, guess what? He's ignorant of his true self, which is what? God. It's in man. He never knew that. So he could never perform and be obedient to God. Why? All you ego people, that's why. That's why. A lot of y'all are Cain. But here we go with Abel. Abel represents the spiritual man, the higher self. Okay? Spiritual, disciplined, obedient to what? His higher self. He was tilling to the land. He was obedient to God. He was a good dude. And he was blessed. Newsflash. If he was just doing what he was doing to be blessed, obedient to God, his brother was jealous because of his fortunate luck. Good things happened to him, whatever happened, God blessing him, but he's not getting his. And like most people are haters, jealous. You mad at the person who's getting what he deserved from who he's serving, and you looking at it as, well, I'm better. No, no, that's egoistic thinking. That's haterade. That's you being jealous that somebody's doing what they're supposed to do and forgetting just do what you're supposed to do and you get the same benefits. Why do you think us spiritual people? There's a lot of us now starting to have fun. Why? Because when you live a spiritually disciplined lifestyle, a self-disciplined lifestyle, no addictions, no nonsense, you would be blessed just for that. It started back with your boy. I'm showing you. Okay, that's the concept. The symbology behind it. It don't make a difference what time or whatever. Why? Because it go back to my story, Asar and Set. Okay, the original brothers who killed the brother. So there's nothing new. That's my point. Now, Cain, the mind of man, aka the ego mind, I, me, selfish, greedy, jealous, insecure, all those things that if we don't know ourselves, we don't raise our conscious level, that's where we live in. We got a whole society of that. Sorry. Abel, the spirit man, gave God 100% effort. No hidden agenda, no secret, no personal, no selfish, egoistic nonsense trying to hide from himself because he didn't know himself, his higher self. All he know is himself. And that's the gimmick that God gave us. We all know ourselves. Can you raise your conscious level to know your higher self, your true self? That's what ignorance falls in. Spiritually ignorant people have no idea about that. But I go to church with religious people who get the concept, who understand it, and they live in it. So I tell you all the time, if you follow the tenets, they work. I'm seeing it with my Christian family. So I truly understand. And watch this. Cain also represents, watch this, shame, guilt in the Garden of Eden. When Adam and Eve did the dirty deed, what they do? They first they did what? Felt shame. See? When you don't feel gratification and good about the action you did, you probably did the wrong action. And that's been since beginning. God put it there for that purpose. Once you start to doing you, oh, you got to go. Just saying. So when you have the fruit knowledge of self, once you know yourself, you ready to do you. But being ignorant of self and believing in something that ain't there, that's the detriment to you. So understand that Cain also represents shame, guilt, bad actions, okay, that come with consequences that a lot of us don't want to pay them dues. I keep telling you, it's self-defeating when you get caught cheating. It goes back to ancient and beginning time. You can't cheat God and think you're going to get away. 3 things you might not want to mess with: Mother Nature, Father Time, and Mr. Right. I'm just saying. Moving on. Cain, aka ego. Yeah, the firstborn in this story is the firstborn that's egoistic, spoiled, okay, nothing to compare himself with. So it was all about him. So Abel comes along. Abel seems to serve God better, do get more reserved, get more blessings. So he's jealous of how Abel's living. Sound familiar? Asar, loved by God. Why? Because he's a good dude. He did the right thing. Okay. Set, the ego brother, always wanted to be that guy. Most of us go through life living in somebody's shadow who they want to be like. Instead of respect and admire them, they have hate toward them and want to try to do, destroy, whatever. But that's hatred. Respect people for what they do. Don't you want to be respected for what you do? You go to school, get your education, get your degree. You want respect. Call me so and so. So you need to understand. Give other people their respect. Nobody wants to worry about you. You have to worry about yours. If you don't give it, how you gonna receive it? So that's what the egoistic people. They just want what they want. They ain't trying to give nothing. Cain refused to give until it was time to pay up. Your ego, but listen, is the killer. The Egyptians started us out with that with Set or Asar. Here we go. So the Cain and Abel story, pretty much the same concept symbolically. Okay, but it's a lesson there. Again, the Bible is a book of stories. Greatest stories ever told. Why? Because they have some validity to them and it has a message to them. That's what all stories is about. But are you getting the real stuff? The esoteric meaning to those stories? Some of y'all don't have a clue. So moving on. But let's talk about the ego. He's been around since beginning of time also, and that's you. Your ego is the killer in you, and what's up? Your ego will even kill you if you let it lead you the wrong way. Again, the lifestyle I chose because my ego could have got me killed a long time before I even made it to prison. The people I was around, things I was doing. So your ego can lead you on that path of destruction, aka self-destruction. You doing it to yourself. Cain and Abel, the first biblical black on black crime. Yeah, they were black, so yeah. See, so brother killing brother, it ain't nothing new. Again, nothing new under the sun. The ego will kill the spirit self. The good guy. The bad guy always want to get the good guy. You ever seen the bad guy and the good guy get along? Why? Because of its lack of knowledge. You can't have an intelligent conversation with one person being intelligent and the other one being ignorant. Unless the ignorant is willing to learn. That's very unusual and a lot of times unlikely. So you're going nowhere trying to have an intelligent conversation with ignorant people. That's why I profess to be a teacher. Maybe that'll get you to understand. Well, maybe I need to listen. Yeah, that's all I ask you. Just listen. We ain't got to argue, debate, hoop, and holler, and wild out. I know what I'm talking about. And I respectfully listen to what you have to say. And by listening, I can tell you don't know what you're talking about. So don't get mad at me when you don't know what you're talking about. I'm just saying. Moving on. They flipped the story, okay, of brother killing brother from Asar, who was the firstborn, the older brother, to set the younger brother jealous and did what he do. But that represents the ego. The spirit come first. In y'all, the biblical concept, the ego came first, which is the older brother, Cain. Abel was the spirit brother. So Osiris with the spirit, first spirit of man. That's my concept for creation story. So I know all about that. And the ego is your inner self, lower self, who want what it wants. And if you don't control it, you're gonna have problems. Trust me, that's the whole concept. But they flipped the story, okay? And yeah, Seth never did get what he wanted after doing what he did. He never really got satisfaction for the action that he took. He thought that was getting what he wanted. Happens a lot, don't it? There you go. Let me finish this up. Oh, yeah, I got to get done. All right, sorry about that. Abel, spirit, consciousness, and man. That was Asar. Spirit. Abel is spirit man, aka Asar, the first spirit man. He was killed by his brother Seth, the ego. Spirit, ego. If they ever come together, they are an unstoppable force. That's why when Haru and Seth decide to call the troops, everything smoothed out. It came balance, but that's the idea. Now, Cain is your lower nature. It's just fine. And understand that's you. We have that fight or flight, sexual desires, and egoistic ways. But you can't live off of that, but you won't raise your conscious level to be your best self. You just be your lower ego self. A lot of us don't mind living that way. You didn't. So I always did. Now Abel is your spiritual, aka higher conscious, or we know it better as Haru. Christians call it Christ, but the spirit self, okay, and self. Cain, aka represents that, the ego. Moving on. Asar, aka Abel, the spirit man, being good to me, being what? God conscious, knowing thyself, and having all that. He still got killed, didn't he? Cain killed his brother Abel. God talked to Abel from the grave, didn't he? Man. Moving on. Here we go. Even in death of the body, don't stop the spirit from what? Connecting with its higher self, aka God. The spirit's mind, my man. You can take the body. As Masons, we know the famous story when the ruffians came to take the Grandmaster. They wanted to give him the secret. They asked him the secret of your life. He told them, my life you can take. My integrity, never. So if we live for something more than just life, then you are a spiritual person. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. And when you have knowledge of that spirit, you're comfortable. Why? You know you're going. So Abel talked to God from the grave. God came and got him. Okay. Cyrus, he became king of the dead. Not the devil, not Hades. Okay, no, he was the spirit keeper in the underworld. Next level. Moving on. See, God talked to Abel when he was what? In the grave. He took his spirit, brought it home. That's the concept. The spirit that's in us wants to go back to this maker. We point up, we point up. When they point down, wow, we're down. We're the lowest level. We're the heaviest, dense part of elements. The body, the physical body. Another lesson. I ain't got time for physics, but yeah. But we are the low level, aka hell. Heaven, hell. Feet underneath your heel, hell. Another concept. But moving on. Let me get this thing done. I got a whole bunch of stuff I'm gonna talk about. Let me get this lesson out the way and move on. All right. Now, Cain, human, first man. Unenlightened man, egoistic man. That's what it means. Didn't know. He didn't have nobody teach him. He didn't have nobody instruct him. So he just did his thing, what he thought was best. A lot of us do that until what we learn better. So some of us will, some of us won't. He did. He did. Moving on. When you're spiritually ignorant, watch this. You will act on emotions and think nothing of it. That's how I felt. That's what I am. That's what I do. Sound familiar? All those is egoistic definitions of a person who's done something wrong. That's how they justify it. With spiritual truth that the ancients gave us, you can live by, and without spiritual truth to live by, you can't live right or you can't live virtuous. Why? Because you got to learn. It's a learning experience. We don't come in with that knowledge. You got to obtain it. You got to get it from somebody. Can the first killer Cain, okay, biblically, the first killer to lie to God. And for us spiritual enlightened people, that's spiritual ignorance 101. You see, so when you know that, you have no hidden agenda from yourself. You can fool all the people most of the time. You can fool most of the people all the time. But you can't fool another time. Moving on. Cain, okay, human, man, never became spiritually enlightened, aka he never knew himself. Okay? He didn't talk to God. Don't be like Cain, living in the darkness and in guilt and shame for action that you do in the dark. They tell you what's done in the dark will come to light. Shine the light on yourself. Open the third eye. Become a better person. You won't have to worry about those things. Why? Because you won't be doing them. Become a right thinker and get in the spiritual game. It's all mental and spiritual. When they come together, that's how it's done. You can manifest whatever it is you want in your life. Wrap it up again. Abel, spiritual man, aka Asar. Abel proved that, watch this, if you live right, serve God, even when someone takes your life, like the Masonic Grandmaster told him, Kyra Beth, take my life. My integrity never. So our integrity to him is his spirit, his soul, his essence of who he is. That was the definition. I understand it. So again, the esoteric meaning of life is spirit. Soul, life, the same thing. So when you know that it's covered, this life, physical life, means nothing. It ain't that a big a deal. Freaking out because you're dying. Don't stop the process. So it's an understanding that it is a process of life. So let me get this out of the way. Yeah, Asar became what? King of the afterlife after living what? A righteous life in the physical life. Same as Abel. When you move on to afterlife, everything that's eternal. You're good. When you die in the physical world and you don't pass the Maya test of judgment, you die consciously. That's the concept. They both, watch this, They both prove that what? God will retrieve his spirit even from the grave. Can another guy do that? Is there anybody you know who can do that? Okay, so understand it. Everything's on the one. When you hear, you'll know it. Right thinkers, we are like Abel. We give God our all, 100% in what? Deeds and moral actions when daily. No excuses, and it ain't just in what we say, it's in what we do. God recognized that. Man hear the words, he see the action, but God know the heart and the intent. Wrapping it up. Be like Abel. You can kill, I'm like Abel. You can kill my body, but never my spirit. Why? Because that belongs to God. And I'm out. Hope you enjoyed the lesson.